Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how you doing?
I am doing pretty good, Jared. How are you?
Doing good. As many of you probably have heard, there's a hurricane coming. Hurricane Milton is on its way, and we are in Florida, so it will impact us. But we are, first off, a lot of people have reached out, said thoughts and prayers, which definitely appreciate that. We are on the east side of the state, so we will still get some weather. But we're staying home and hunkering down and planning on being just basically on an island. Well, not really an island, but I think the way this will work in talking with a bunch of people in our neighborhood and looking at it is, our house and the streets and neighborhood will be fine. The roads around us are likely to flood a little bit, so we'll probably just be sticking at home until sometime on Friday would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what we have to do. So hopefully we don't lose power. And, we have enough food and we're doing all the backup stuff and precautions and all that stuff. So hopefully we'll just going to be writing this out. It did shift south a little bit, which will help us.
It does help us. Obviously, when you're talking about hurricanes, everybody's in a different spot. But
it's still going to be rough. But
yeah, it reminds me a lot of Ian, because Ian was a similar path kind of. And I think that was a Cat 5 when it hit. And we stayed in Orlando for that one.
Yeah.
This is it's a big storm. So again, hopefully, I know there's some listeners that are on, the Tampa side and the west side. Hopefully everybody is safe and evacuated and everything is, hopefully it's not as bad as it seems. But, as they say, prepare for the worst, but hope and / plan for the best. So
exactly.
Hopefully that's how it goes. But there are some, I guess we should say, when it comes to Disney and Universal, if you are on a vacation or heading, there are some closures. So as of now, both Disney and Universal are closed. The parks are closed early on Wednesday, which as we're recording, they are closed now. And then they will remain closed through Thursday, and they'll probably assess damage or see how things look after that.
Yeah, like Mickey's Not So Scary is canceled for Thursday, both tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday night. Halloween Horror Nights has been canceled. So basically, everything is put to a halt. Rest of today, Wednesday, and tomorrow all day on Thursday. So
yeah. Yes, and obviously, team members and cast members, some of them are working in the hotels and all that. So hopefully everybody stays safe.
Yeah.
Now, for guests that are affected by the closures, you can cancel or reschedule your trips with no penalty with check-in dates until October 14th. So they will help you on that end. And I think if you booked directly through them, you can. I think if it's like a third party, I'm pretty sure you have to go through like your travel agent for that. But I think that it still extends to them as well. I think. I'm not exactly 100% sure on that.
Yeah, it does.
But okay.
It does. And just FYI, if you don't have a pressing matter, you don't have something that, is required to be like an emergency or something that is vital to do like now, maybe don't call Disney. Right now, or Universal, maybe just let's take care of the people that have some more urgent matters than say making dining reservations. I don't know. That's just my opinion, but it is a lot of call volume right now. So just people trying to.
I've seen some
stuff.
posts, and I get it. Like if it doesn't affect, we've only lived in Florida for a few years now. So before a hurricane's coming, but it doesn't directly impact you. So it's easy for people. Like I saw some people posting about they were complaining about something. I forget which group it was. And then, people were just like, well, there is a hurricane. And I get it. Like if you're not affected by it, it's easy to dismiss. But hopefully it all blows through it. Now it should, if you have a trip, some people were asking on some YouTube comments and stuff about they got a trip next week. Should it be okay? Unless something drastic happens and the damage is very, very significant. Everything will be running as usual because, again, even the parks being closed a day, it's going to cost both Disney and Universal quite a bit of money just not having a day of operations, which obviously want everybody to be safe, but they're going to get the parks open as quickly as they can. So, like when we stayed for Ian we've stayed at Cabana Bay. I think Universal was closed a half day after it went through because there was some flooding around Universal. I remember the Hulk part of that coaster was actually underwater. So there can be things, depending where it's at.
And the backstage areas were flooded and they couldn't actually get there. And that was an issue too. Like the team members couldn't get to there where they needed to be. So so they'll do what they got to do. And, hopefully they'll let us know more ahead of a time than they did with this one. Because they kind of waited a long time to tell everybody what they were doing.
Yeah.
I was like, what are we waiting on?
I mean, I guess on some level I get where you're trying. I mean, hurricanes, they're coming, but they change how quick they're coming. They wibble, they woggle. I don't think I said English there.
Woggle.
I meant to say they wobble, and they change direction a little bit. But they, especially when you're dealing with people that may want to flee and employees and things like that. So
right, exactly.
But yeah, hopefully everybody's safe. Thoughts and prayers, and we will. We will do everything we need to do here. We're pretty prepared, like Jamie said. So got board games on hand in case something happens, and I have my weight room in the garage, so I'm good.
Everything is going to be charged tonight. Backup chargers, freeze water bottles in the fridge, all that stuff.
Yeah, do have friends with generators, so if we do need those, I'll just start knocking on my buddies' doors and
help us.
We need to use your fridge, but
yeah.
But yeah, well, for the show today, there's not a lot of news because obviously a lot of the news is about the hurricane, and we're not meteorologists.
But we would like to keep it light.
Yeah, and I'm not really, I'll pay attention to the weather, but it doesn't interest me that much. But we do have a little bit of things we'll talk about. One being a new shop, or I shouldn't say shop, a new restaurant opening up at Disney that has some, let's just say, aggressive pricing. We'll check out and see and talk about that a little bit. And then, given the rainy, I guess time we're in right now, at least for us being in Florida, we're going to talk about some rainy day things you can do if you're on your vacation and it happens to rain. There are some things you can do when you have a change of plans due to the weather. So,
and how to prepare for it if you decide to go into the parks, which you might.
Prepare is always good. That's what we're going to do. So before we do that, though, just want to remind everybody, if you're watching us on YouTube or if you're not watching us on YouTube and you would like to watch the show on YouTube, you can do that on YouTube.
With the YouTube.
Just repeat the words over. You can do that over at CTM Podcast. And if you're watching over there, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And of course, you're listening on good old trusty audio podcast form. It's just been there for the longest time. Whatever platform you listen on, we greatly appreciate if you just subscribe and leave us a review. It definitely helps us continue to grow the show and feed the algorithms and all those things. All the things that I don't understand how they work, but they do help, apparently. That's what I've been told. So, and of course, you have a trip coming up, or if you just want some nice apparel, you can check out CTM Apparel, which is our own clothing company that we have here. We design everything in-house, we print everything in-house, and we ship it out in-house. So until it touches you, it's all us. We take care of all of it in-house to give you the best quality shirts and prints that you can. And we can do all sorts of shirts on hoodies, T-shirts, different kinds of T-shirts, tank tops, whatever you want, we can print on there for you. And we have a lot of Halloween designs we put in the shop that are some old favorites and some new ones as well. So if you still want some Halloween shirts, you can do that. And then we will have the Christmas designs up very soon because, of course, it's October and it's basically pre-Christmas. As Jamie is just cannot wait for the Christmas stuff to come out. She's holding back, but it's not. I'm not going to be able to hold it back much longer.
Guys.
So
I mean, for me, it's like, Christmas time. It starts like last week of October. Then we have Halloween, and then it's back to Christmas.
Yeah, well, apparently at Costco it's already Halloween, but it's already Christmas. But it soon will be Christmas as well at CTM Apparel. But right now, if you head over to CTMapparelco.com and use the promo code FALL, you'll get 15% off of your order there. And like I said, we print everything in-house and design it in-house, all that good stuff here. So if you can check that out, go to CTMapparelco.com and use the promo code FALL to get 15% off your order. So, all right. Well, like I said, don't have much news. The main thing we have here, which we will discuss, because I'm curious. We actually haven't discussed this between you and I much. We saved it for the show, as we sometimes do. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we're around each other a lot, but I was like, let's save it for the show. So I have no idea what Jamie's thoughts are on this, but the Cake Bake Shop, located at the Boardwalk, which has been under construction for basically 15 years, no longer has construction walls, and the menu has been revealed. And the pricing's interesting. Is there anything else you want to say about the Cake Bake Shop before we get into the menu?
Yeah, just really quick, I wanted to say that the exterior looks very pretty. It looks like it fits within Boardwalk pretty well. Like it's all white and there's little accents of gold around the building. Like it looks like it's been there for a long time. You could also plop it into Grand Floridian.
It does have a Grand Flow vibe.
It does. And I'm like, maybe I wonder if they originally wanted to put it there, but maybe not. I don't know, because it's not owned by Disney.
Where would they have put it, though?
I don't know. That's the thing. Because the building itself reminds me of the Narcoossee's building.
Yeah.
Like the shape. Maybe I'll have to go back and look at the building again, but like it gives me those vibes. But anyway, it looks beautiful from the outside. I've heard from people that have been to cake bake shops before, the other locations. They say it's very pretty inside. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, we're talking about the menu.
Yeah, so it listen, it looks pretty on the outside. I will just say before we get into this conversation, I don't believe that this establishment is geared toward me. I don't think they're going after my business necessarily. So I might be speaking
I agree with that.
a bit out of my depth here in terms of what people are looking for in these types of establishments. But having said that, I will say, looking at their menu, they're out of their minds. I will just say that. They have lost their minds. I don't know it. You'll listen, some of these things I get, but let's just talk about some of these items. Because again, first off, you're at a theme park. You expect to pay a little bit higher prices.
Sure.
That's a given. Okay, I'm not going to argue that. But so we have some cocktails here, which are around $20-ish. That's not insane. I think where it starts getting a little interesting are when you get to like the pancake side with the brunch menu, the breakfast menu. Everything at the very least starts at $22 for pancakes.
Yeah.
Not all you can eat, I'm assuming. I'm assuming those are just straight up. So I was like, that's okay.
Let's look at the quiche, croques, and croissants.
Uh-huh.
A croque monsieur is $32.
Can't you get one of those in Epcot in France?
You can also get it at Riviera for about, $20 cheaper.
Right. Yeah, they want 32 for that. Yeah,
they do.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
They do.
Yeah.
They do want that.
Eggs, and now the one that stuck out to me, the egg sandwich.
That got you.
Listen, I eat eggs all the time. I love eggs, but eggs have a ceiling in terms of, and I get, like, you have a really good chef. They can do a lot of things with food to make it taste really good. I understand that. Eggs have a ceiling. There's only so much you can do with just making eggs. An egg sandwich is $23, and an eggs any style is $26. So I'm assuming that's maybe 2 eggs, maybe 3 eggs. I don't know. Either way, I can buy like 3 giant things of eggs for that price if I go to my local Costco. But classic eggs Benedict's is $34. Crab caked egg Benedict's is $42.
That's insane.
That's and I'm going to assume you perhaps get 2. Now, Grand Floridian Cafe has really good eggs Benedict, and I believe you get 3. It's been a while since I've had there. 2 or 3, but I think they're $16, $18, $20 there, something like that. Still a little high, but not this high. And then you get into the sides, which the sides and the drink is where it gets really, really interesting here. So if you want a side of bacon, that's $8. Toast is $4.
A cup of fruit is $9.
All butter croissant is $12. And then even the kids menu, everything on the kids menu, no matter breakfast or dinner or whatever, it all is $18. Bacon and eggs, $18. One waffle, it says, $18. And then I know for the kids menu for dinner, you have like buttered noodles, $18. And then like if you want a burger or something else, it's $18. So more than likely, if you get a side and a main dish for your children, they're already going to be at plus $30 each. Yeah. For the most part.
Yeah. Can we talk about lunch and dinner?
Yeah, I was going to move on to that one because
yeah. So there's a charcuterie board you can get. Now, obviously, this is meant to be shared. I have no comments about that, but it is $78 for a charcuterie board.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
I imagine people are going to just be yelling that they look at the menus. That I've never understood charcuterie boards to begin with because I've had Lunchables. So to me, I'm like, I grew up with charcuterie boards. We just didn't call it charcuterie boards.
So here's the thing. I don't really care for like cheese. By itself, even like that. I didn't really like Lunchables. I always ate it like the meat and the cracker, and that's it. I get the charcuterie board thing, and like people like the presentation of it, and they like the different kinds of cheeses and meats and crackers and stuff, and even fruit and whatever you do.
I feel like there's a butt coming.
But $78 is so much money to pay for this. Again, maybe you're coming for like a special occasion, or it's like a catering event, or it's like a baby shower or a wedding shower. Like this place seems very suited for those special occasion kind of things, or like a girls' lunch or whatever.
Well, I think it also is catered to people who have just so much money they don't know what to do with, that they're just like, sure, let's do this. Now, the one that gets me the most, and I think this is again, bonkers. Classic burger with pommes frites, which I'm assuming are fries.
Pommes frites.
It's just a very fancy way to say fries. $32. That's insane. Already burgers are approaching 20. Get me. And again, like the best burger I've had on property is Steakhouse 71, and that one I believe is like 20 to 24. Like it's already up there, but it is a good burger. Now this may very well be a good burger. I'm never going to find out because I'm not paying $32 on principle for a burger. I just find it insane. But I think the craziest thing on this menu.
There's more?
Oh, yes. I believe the craziest thing are the beverages.
Okay.
So you can make an argument that the things that they're presenting here they make themselves, and maybe it's that good and whatever. Okay, you're talking about beverages here that they don't make. If you want hot chocolate, it's 10. If you want a glass of milk, it's 8. If you want, let's see here. If you want a soda, if you want Coke Zero, Coke products, whatever, that's $8.
Oh my gosh.
Iced tea is $9. Orange juice is $11. Water, there's bottled water, I believe, is like $8. Yeah, $8.
Yeah.
So the beverages being now to me, this just seems gouging in terms of pricing here. I get you're creating an ambiance and an atmosphere because there are very expensive restaurants that people love and go to. I'm not making the argument that this place is not good, but even if your food is handcrafted and it's so unique, and you have a French chef that doesn't speak English and he only speaks French and he yells at people, which means he's a good chef. I'm like, whatever, fine. But when you're talking about Coke Zero being $8, I mean, that makes what in-park prices for Coke products seem reasonable. And those already up there like almost $5 a piece.
Yeah, they're $5.
So I'm not saying this place isn't good or won't be good. I'm just saying these prices are bonkers to me, at least. Now, I did compare.
You haven't even gotten to the crazy part for me.
Oh, what's the crazy part to you?
The cake slices.
Oh, yeah. What? Okay.
They're like $24, $26. Again, haven't tried these, but that's a whole lot of money. And so we put this question out to Facebook in our Capture the Magic Community Facebook group. And I asked a question to everybody. I was like, have you been here to other locations? Like, what's, the pricing? Does it fit what you're getting? Like, can you share these things? And somebody had said that they had been there, and she said, and I asked her about the portion sizes for the cakes. I was like, can you share a piece of cake between like 4 people? Is this just like whatever? She goes, 2 people could share it. So 2 people could share a cake slice for 24, which I was like, okay, maybe.
How much is a cake slice at Gideon's?
That's a great question.
I'm assuming like 8-ish.
It can't be more than like 10, but
right.
Again, I don't remember.
And that's considered like a pretty high-end bakery shop,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I looked up. They have other locations. And again, I know you're going to pay more in a theme park. I looked up their Indiana location on their menu. And while it's still kind of pricey, but everything was generally $7 to almost $10 cheaper on that menu compared to this. So even the kids' menu is a little bit cheaper. My thing about this is this, and this is where I think it'll be interesting how this is received. I don't know how this place is going to do. I kind of have a hard time thinking you're on the boardwalk. There's already a lot of food options on the boardwalk right around it. And there's, again, you go into Epcot, a lot of the stuff you can just go into Epcot and get. And I know that is really good. I'm not going to compare it to this place because I've never had it, but you can go into the France Pavilion and get a lot of these things that are very good for much cheaper with the ambiance of being in France. The thing is, this is not a Disney-owned establishment. First of all, I will say that. But I don't know if your general theme park guest is going to understand that. And you already have, and we've talked about the sentiment, and now you have not only analysts, but now you have investors talking about perhaps the price hikes have been too aggressive. And this has been talked about a lot on different, articles being written in publications. I don't think the general theme park fan is going to necessarily understand that this isn't Disney owned and just be like, oh, geez, they want $8 for a Coke. I just don't know how this is going to go over, especially given the climate right now with, inflation already and things are already more expensive. I'm sure this place has its clientele, and I have no doubt when it first opens, it will be popular because you're going to have the vloggers and the media and everybody going in there, and I'm sure they're going to say it's great. But I just, long term, it kind of gives me a little bit of NBA experience vibes in terms of a thing coming in that's kind of expensive that a lot of people, general public wise, aren't really familiar with. And I don't know. I'm not saying it won't do good. I have questions. I'm more curiously watching this place, I think.
That's understandable. Like I kind of agree. I wouldn't compare it to NBA experience.
I just mean in terms of a place that comes in and doesn't last very long, potentially.
Sure. I'm not going to make any predictions about how it's going to do because I just don't know. There's a lot of people that have been excited about it, but are you going to weigh like, okay, experience and price over, saving money? Like, what's going to win out here?
But not even that far down the boardwalk, you have Flying Fish, which is legitimately is that signature dining technically?
I want to say yes.
Okay. Signature
I
dining.
don't know, actually. That's a good question.
I feel like these prices are getting, if not at the level, are getting very close to the level of signature dining. And having eaten at places like Topolino's and California Grill, yes, those places are expensive, but like they are very, very good. I just don't know if the prices given this place is going to necessarily justify it. Maybe it does. Maybe the food is that good, But even California Grill has menu items that are, you could get like a flatbread that's not insane. Like if you didn't have like, you don't want to go spend $100 on a meal, you could go in there and get a couple of sides and a drink and like walk out, $40-$50. I don't believe you're going to be able to do this at this place. It seems like unless you've got just eating by yourself and you just get one thing. It seems like if you got a family of 4 or just eating a normal meal, you're probably spending close to well over $100.
Yeah,
I would say. So I'm just curious, again, the pricing level compared to what else you can get just on the boardwalk itself in that price range. How many people are going to choose to eat here? I again, not making predictions. I just have more questions than answers when it comes to this in terms of, how it'll do.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. But, so we'll see. I guess, let us know if you're in the Facebook group, Capture the Magic Community, or, let us know on Instagram what you think. Cause I'm curious, but I looked at those prices and I just went, I'm good.
I'll check it out with some girl.
Oh, you will?
Oh yeah, I'll still check it out.
I think we need to talk about a price limit.
Okay.
Going into here.
Sure.
Be like, I only got 3 things. The bill was $400. You're like, well, I just got cake and a soda. And you're like,
oh, I'm not buying an $8 soda.
That's
I will drink water, thank you, and I will drink tap water. Actually, I don't know if I can do that. We'll see. We'll see what I do.
What if you just brought your own water?
I mean, I don't know.
There's probably one of those places they won't let you.
Probably.
Either way, that's happening.
That
so
is happening.
Let us know what you guys think. I just think the menu's kind of wild there. So.
Yep.
All right. Next couple of stories. Not much to talk about here, but Lightning McQueen Racing Academy is officially closed now.
Yeah.
As it makes way for the villain show that is going to go in here.
And I feel like nobody really cared.
Well, it's gone. How long has that show been going on for?
Oh, 6 years? 5 years?
It's been going on a while. And, I think it's a good show if you like cars, but I think for the most part, a lot of people didn't know even existed back there because it's tucked in there behind Rock and Roller Coaster and things like that. And also, it kind of lends to me the sort of popularity or lack of popularity at this point for, like, say, the Cars franchise, which does make me wonder.
I don't think it was that. I think it was just the nature of the show.
No, I agree. Yeah. I'm just saying, but I also don't think Cars is the most popular thing in at the moment right now. I'm not saying like our kids, like our son enjoys it, but it kind of brings into questions for me of like putting in a Cars land because I just don't know how relevant that IP is today. But either way, is no longer there. And do we have a timetable on when the villain show will open? I'm assuming it'll be by the spring. Is what they'll say, but
yeah,
that is closed now. And then holiday merchandise has hit the stores now. If you're looking for Christmas merchandise,
Christmas is here. It came to the website to DisneyStore.com on the 30th of September. Like, we're gonna get this Q1 started well.
Yeah, I think they definitely are trying to boost.
They do. They always do that.
They do, but I definitely think that they're. Yeah, I think they're trying to boost as much. They also had some more discounts come up for 2025 as well, a little bit more.
Yeah, we talked about that. I think we talked about that last week or the week before. But yeah
I think they're definitely trying to get some bookings and things like that. But as of now, that's really all the news outside of a hurricane and those things happening. Not much else to really talk about.
Yep.
But we do have a poll time.
Poll time.
It's poll time. Tell us what you think. Every opinion counts. Come on and link. We're discussing it all. We're taking a stance. Poll time's the segment. Let's get
All right. For this week's poll time, I asked the question, given the rising costs of lightning lanes at Walt Disney World, what is the maximum amount you would pay per person for lightning lane multi-pass? 50% said $35 per person. 39% said $25 per person. 6% said, I don't buy multi-pass at Walt Disney World. 4% said $50. Ooh. And 1% said $65 or more. So let's talk about this. So half of the people polled said that they would spend about $35 and that's it. So it has gotten higher than $35 before for a single day. Mm-hmm. It has not gotten into the 40s yet. It's teetering that line. It's getting up there.
I think they're just going to do dollar by dollar because they just had that dollar increase.
I mean, the prices are going up already this month.
I know.
And I think we talked about that last week.
Yeah.
So most people are like, yeah, I'll pay up to $35. The other, the 40% was to say, I'll pay up to $25. I think that's interesting that only 4% of the vote were like, yeah, I'll pay $50. $50 is insane to me.
Oh,
that's just me. Again, local, go a lot. We don't really buy GM much at all. But $50 is insane. Let's say you have a family of 6. That's $300 extra for one day.
Yeah. I definitely think, and again, like I said, investors and analysts, a lot of people have been talking about this subject. And there was one that I found particularly interesting there was an analyst that said that their worry at their firm is that Disney has pushed the price hike envelope a little too far. And they may not recognize it. And when they do recognize it, it may be, in their words, like too late, or what do they do? And there are also words saying it would take them a long time to whatever the fix is for it. There is a ceiling to this stuff. I mean, they keep raising prices more and more, and they get more aggressive with it. I do think there is a ceiling, and I do wonder on some level when it comes to the general public, when do they just tap out and say, maybe they don't not go to Disney anymore, but they just go, I'm not getting Lightning Lane. I'm not doing this. I'm just, whatever. I don't know. I'm not surprised they keep seeing it, but yeah, I agree. When you start getting toward $35, $40, $50 for this stuff, not to mention the rumor is they're going to introduce the Premier Lightning Lane on top of this all.
That's still a rumor, but
it's still a rumor. It's supposedly supposed to happen, but let's say they do introduce that. This is a lot of added expense on top of the tickets and everything else that, I think sometimes people refer to this as microtransactions. And when you're talking the video game world, people hate microtransactions, which is like you buy a game and basically to play the game how it's advertised, you have to buy extra things inside the game, which is essentially kind of what Disney does, which is like your ticket is the gate in. But then if you really want to experience everything, you don't have to, but you're sort of, it's encouraged that you buy these things. It makes you wonder. I just don't know long term how this will all go. That's a question I have, is just long term with this stuff. I was like, how does this look 5-10 years from now? How do people react to it? And all sorts, stuff like that.
Well, here's a comment I want to read. So this is from Heather. She goes, I don't think this is something we are going to get away from, so I sort of budget in now. We aren't locals, so we want to make the most of our time. That being said, I really feel like the only park this is needed for is Magic Kingdom, especially if you're staying deluxe and can utilize extended evening hours or even doing some sort of party. And then somebody else said the similar thing. She goes, my max would be $30 for multi-pass for Magic Kingdom, $25 for Animal Kingdom, $27 for Hollywood Studios. I never get it at Epcot. So I know this is just a blanket statement that I asked for about multi-pass, but I think that if I asked, okay, which park are you going to want multi-pass more for? They're going to say Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios.
Oh, for sure.
Bar none.
For sure.
Have we ever bought Animal Kingdom multi-pass?
No.
I don't think we have. No.
No.
Yeah, it was just an interesting question, and the results, not that they shocked me, but I figured people would want to pay more, or we'd be willing to pay more, up to $50 for the same. I just think that once they get over that $40 mark for multi-pass, people are going to start like red flags or not red flags, but just like an alert thing. It's going to go off the brain like, oh my gosh, that's so much. Can't do it.
Well, this goes into my argument. Yeah, and I'm not the only one that's had this argument, but my whole argument against Lightning Lane and charging for these things is, I think in general, most people budget whatever they're going to budget for on their vacation. So let's just use a straight number, say $5,000 for your whole trip. So if they're charging for these things, they're going to work those into the budget, and they're just not going to buy, say, as much food or merchandise or whatever the case may be. So yes, Disney does show this revenue source, and they can, and the data leaks that or hacks that came out show that Disney's made almost $800 million since they introduced Genie Plus. So it's definitely
That's insane.
Absolutely. But at the same time, I do believe that if you just went back, now I'm not saying they're going to, but let's say you went back and just fast passes were included and all these other things, that people would then spend more money on food and merchandise and these other items. So by them charging for this, I don't necessarily think it changes the amount that people do spend that go. I just think they spend less in other areas. So, and I think if you did it the other way and you didn't charge and microtransaction people on these things, that people would have a better feeling about their trips in terms of how they feel about the value of it. So this is where I go into the long-term effect of how do people, they go on their trip, they spend all this money, but how do they feel about it, and do they want to go back? And that is the thing that again, some of the analysts were pointing out that the repeat visits, a lot of people are choosing to go to like Europe and other places, go on cruises, because you can spend sometimes even less money to go on a longer trip or get all the food included, especially if you're talking about cruises. So as they keep going with the price increases, they enter into a realm of a lot of competition for your vacation dollar. And I do wonder about the longevity of it. I really do.
Yeah. But yeah, interesting to see what the responses were for this week. I'll probably do a similar question next week about single pass and see what people say. So, well, thank you everybody for participating in the poll this week. I will have a new poll next week.
Yes, and if you want to be a part of the next poll time, you can do that by going to the Capture the Magic Facebook community, asking to join there, which is a great group to be a part of anyways, but you can join in there. And also over on Instagram at Cap the Magic. Jamie posts those in the stories over there. So you can vote in both or either place if you want to do that. So, all right, well, let's get to our topic, like we said, which is rainy days on your vacation.
Rainy days.
Obviously, this can happen. It is Florida. So if you're there in the summer in Florida, it rains every day basically, but it's for like 20 minutes and it goes away. But let's say you're there during a hurricane time, or if it's it happens where it rains for a whole day or something, and all that stuff like that. So, but yeah, so let's get to the first one here. So what's the first one you would say?
So obviously rain is not fun, but you could still enjoy the parks.
Some people think rain's fun.
Here's what you need though. If you're going to go to the parks when it's raining, here's what you need. You either need ponchos, rain jacket, umbrella, or nothing.
Yeah,
you just want to get just completely drenched or whatever. That's on you.
Just get wet.
Go for it. Waterproof shoes or some kind of moisture wicking shoes. I was thinking like Crocs. You have your canes that you wear.
I was going to say, I get asked about these all the time.
Yeah.
They're called cane footwear. We are not sponsored. I wish we were by
No,
then.
we're not
but
sponsored.
they are, they're basically Croc material that look like tennis shoes, but they're great because you can wear them with socks. They just look like athletic shoes, but you wear them with no shoe or no socks on, and you don't have to worry about the worst part of it raining, which is wet socks. Nobody likes that.
Yeah. So if it does rain and you're in the park and you want to not get your socks wet, take them off, or just bring an extra pair of socks. That works too.
I would just go with Crocs or canes personally.
Or that. A waterproof bag for things that need to stay dry. So like, let's say you are, I don't even know. Let's say you have a poncho and you just want to have stuff in your pockets or something. Maybe bring a bag where you put like your phone, your wallet, just things you don't want to get wet, basically. Just put it in there. Put it in like a plastic baggie or a resealable, like reusable bag will work too.
Or get you a really tall hat and stick it under your hat.
Oh, you mean like Cat in the Hat style?
Yeah,
Okay.
And listen, it could be you get a lot of people. That's your way of people getting attention, I suppose, if you wanted that.
All right. Moisture wicking clothes or fast drying clothes.
See, I would go with, because I think even moisture wicking clothes, they're still going to be wet. So it's not a bad idea. But I would say if you're going to the parks, you think you're going to get wet. Me personally, I would just have a change of clothes in the waterproof bag and just be wet. That's how I was saying, like no umbrella. Like if it's just rain, like just be wet, you're fine. And then as long as you have a change of clothes, or like bring a towel or something like that, and then you can change out of your wet clothes. But
also bring a towel. That would be a
but
suggestion too. And then also if you have kids with you, bring a stroller cover. Cover that stroller, because once it gets wet, it takes a while for it to dry. We've experienced this.
It can, that's for sure.
Yeah, so that's definitely a good thing to remember. Some of the outside rides may not be running if it's raining very hard or if it's lightning. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, like at Magic Kingdom, it'll close. Big Thunder will close. What else is outside?
I mean, basically the outside rides.
Just the outside rides.
Most of the times
basically.
we'll close down.
But also character meet and greets that are outdoors. They won't go on. No outdoor photo pass. The parade won't happen if it's raining. They'll have a rainy day cavalcade, which is cute to see. But they also, it depends on if the weather is just really bad or they're having problems with it. Fireworks may or may not happen. But if it's raining, Tinkerbell is not flying. That's all I got to say about that.
Usually, unless it's like really bad weather, if it's just rain, they'll still do the fireworks.
Yeah. Usually.
But I would say the plus side is, when it does rain and you want to go to the parks, it does clear out a lot of people.
That is true.
So a lot of times, even though it is wet, it's not the best conditions, you will have, lower wait times on things. So if you don't mind getting wet, you can take advantage of that.
Yeah. And make the most of indoor shows and attractions. Like not People Mover, Carousel of Progress. That's a good one because it's long, and if it's like an afternoon shower and you can just go in, watch the show, and you come out, it's done raining.
Or if you need a nap.
Of course.
It's true.
Table service restaurants, good. You can, spend some time in there, character meals, just anything that's inside, obviously, because it's raining. Right.
Yes, very true.
Thinking about Epcot, for example, one really good strategy is to spend some time in the Land Pavilion or even the Seas with Nemo and Friends Pavilion. In the sea one, they've got the ride and they've got the Bruce show and they got the aquarium. There's lots to do in there without having to leave.
Yeah, if you got kids, you can spend a lot of time in there.
Yeah.
If they enjoy, aquarium, which most kids do.
Yeah, in the Land Pavilion, you've got Soarin', you've got the Awesome Planet show, you've got Living with the Land. I know, sorry. You've got you've got Garden Grill, you've got the Sunshine Season. Sorry, I can't say it. So you've got a lot in there too that you can do without having to go outside. So I feel like those are two good places to spend a lot of time if it's raining for a while.
It's true. Yeah,
I'm just saying. Animal Kingdom's a little bit harder though. Because it's a lot of outside.
Yeah. I feel like when it's really hot or rainy, Animal Kingdom, I mean, if you look at attendance as well, it's the one park that most people drop off anyways. But I feel like if you have, weather conditions going on, I feel like that park is probably the one that people just don't bother with too much.
I guess so. I guess that's true. Yeah. I mean, it would be hard.
I mean, there's not a lot of stuff to do anyways there. And then once
you have to throw that in, huh?
No, I'm just saying. But then once some rides are shut down due to the rain, you're left with very few attractions that you can do. And even the people that leave, a lot of times the wait times can get higher there as well.
That's true.
So I think that's what hurts it is just a lack of overall, like the sheer number of attractions are already lower and a lot of them are outside.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so obviously, go at do things in the parks, but you can also, depending where you stay, do things at your hotel. So if you're staying at a Disney hotel, there are activities going on even in the rain. So one thing I can say right off the bat is we've done with our kids before is depending on the resort, but a lot of them have like an activity room or
sometimes.
And I know Riviera had, but when we stayed there with the kids before and other ones, but a lot of times they'll have those and they have coloring pages, they have cartoons going. Sometimes board games. Like there's, some things that you can find to do at the hotels. Sometimes they have characters come out too.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll bring the characters out. Sometimes if they usually do crafts like outside for like the midday activity, they'll bring it inside and they'll just let you do it there. Some are free. Some cost a little. For example, with our daughter, we went and did the castle painting at Contemporary, which was a very cool thing. We got to paint basically in California Grill as we looked at the castle and painted. It was very cool.
Yeah, there you go.
I love that. But visit the Grand Floridian Spa is another option. You can go to the spa.
Of course. Yes. Sign me up.
You can do like lobby tours. So Wilderness Lodge will offer one. Animal Kingdom Lodge, you can do one. I think you can still do one at Grand Floridian. It probably just depends on the day and if there's someone available to do it. But you can always ask. And then I was thinking, hoop-de-doo review.
Yeah, yeah. You might have to make sure you can get a reservation there, but yeah.
Well, yes, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying it is inside and it is an activity that's not in the parks. So
Well, I would say in general, you could obviously like check out more. If you're looking at a certain restaurant, you want to try something during a rain, when it's raining is not a bad idea. Now, one thing kids love to do that I can say for certain is the arcade at many of the hotels.
Yes.
Our daughter especially, but any kid I think loves a good arcade. So you can always go in there and blow $20 in 5 minutes and.
Honestly,
less.
though, they have so much fun.
Oh, they
doing
do.
it.
I just wish they
Yeah.
had the ticket. So our daughter likes them because she likes tickets. So the fact that these places don't have tickets sometimes, like she still wants to kind of do it, but she's like, oh, like she likes the thrill of the ticket winning and holding them in your hand sort of thing. But
Yep, it's
you also
true.
have lounges and bars you can go check out as well.
Just to start that rainy day drinking.
I mean, it is Florida, and that's
is
what.
Florida.
If you're talking about what people do during a hurricane down here, Florida man and part in a hurricane parties, it's a real thing. If you look in the groups of like, hey, is everybody prepared? They're like, yep, got my beer and my alcohol. Like they're just they're ready. That's part of it. So you
That's
can always do
true.
that.
Hurricane party. You can shop. You can shop at the gift shop. Sometimes those are bigger than others at certain hotels, but that is an option. And you mentioned the community hall section. They have a lot of those at the DVC resorts. Not so much at the regular
Yeah.
hotels.
Well, like Beach Club has like
But-
a pool room, like for a pool table and stuff like that.
Yeah, they have I know they have a pool table at, I want to say Contemporary or Bay Lake Tower, or one of those. But yeah, so you can find stuff to do. And during a hurricane specifically, which we have discussed a couple of years ago, and I think we had mentioned last night on the live stream, they will have even more characters come in and entertain the guests, and they'll do like contests and trivia. We were talking about earlier, right before we started recording, the bartender at Bellevue Lounge at Boardwalk, like brought a bunch of board games from his house and brought them in so people could play them
Yeah.
while this hurricane stuff's going on, which I was like, that's cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah, you can do a lot of stuff at the hotels if you decide not to go into the parks or can't go in the parks.
Yes. Yeah. Well, something I guess you could do as well, considering at your hotel, is you could, of course, chill in your room and do stuff in there. For us, like sometimes when we went to Cabana Beta right out Ian a couple years ago, I brought our Nintendo Switch for the kids and played that. So, obviously these are not, you don't want to go on vacation to hang out in your room,
Sure.
but there are things you can do in there. You can take naps.
Love naps. I love a good midday nap.
You could make TikToks and reels. You could create
In my
content,
room.
monetize your
Yes.
trip some way. There you go. You could do that.
The smart TVs, they are set up to where you can watch like Disney Plus with your phone, right? Like you
Well,
connect
yeah,
it.
you have to sync your phone up to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that is an option. They don't have, which I'm confused about this, why they don't have like a general Disney Plus account at the hotels.
I think it is one of these most.
So weird.
I think it's a
right?
very ill-advised move. If you want to get more people onto your Disney Plus platform, why would you not make it for free in the Disney hotels?
Yeah.
And then if people don't have it, they might check it out and be like, wow, this is, or here's an idea. I'm going to give you a free tip, Disney. When people stay at your resorts, how they used to have like bounce back offers?
Yeah.
Send people a thing that says, hey, 3 free months of Disney Plus thanks for staying at our hotel room. I don't know. Something like that. That might bump your subscriber counts up a little bit. But yeah, either way, if you do have Disney Plus, you can sync it to your TV there. Now, some people have brought like game systems and things like that. I don't know if you want to do that. You can do that if you anticipate a lot of rain or something. But
Those Amazon Fire Sticks, Roku device.
Oh, yeah, you can do that.
You can do that.
yeah,
But yeah, you can hang out in your room, even it's just for a little bit.
you could stare at each other quietly.
You can do other things too. I'm moving on from this.
You're going to leave that in there.
I'm gonna leave that hanging. Okay. What's the next one, Sharon?
Well, you can also head over to, even if it's rainy, Disney Springs. You can go there.
Yes.
Obviously, well, not during a hurricane. I think that Disney Springs will also be closed. But if it's just a
Right.
typical rainy,
Right.
time of the day, you can go shopping.
Shopping.
You can eat over there. You
drink,
can-
eat.
yeah, you can do basically.
Mary.
You can go see a movie.
I was gonna say I would say that is a really good, if it's gonna be like raining all day, but obviously it's not a hurricane. Going to see a movie is a great option.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also bowling at Splitsville.
You know, I've never actually bowled. I've had a drink at Splitsville.
We had a
but
drink
I've never
at Splitsville.
bowled at Splitsville. But yeah, you could go bowl.
Yeah, for real. And even like live music, they do live music performances. Sometimes it's outside, so they don't have them obviously when it's raining. But like I know House of Blues does live performances over there, so you could catch one of those. So yeah, there's like more than just eating and drinking there.
They also have a really cool thing called Disney Quest. Oh, they took that out.
Oh, Disney Quest.
Never mind. They took it out for this one thing that lasted
Psych.
like 6 months and it's gone. But yeah, you used to be able to do
Also-
that. You go in Disney Quest. Oh man, they got a rainy day. If you're a kid, that place would be awesome.
That's true. You can also do like Amaret's Patisserie. They also have like cake baking classes. Like you can make cakes and they'll teach you how to do it, how they do it. That's inside.
That's true.
You can take classes like
There
that.
are like when you go to Disney Springs too, they do have like happy hours and like specials a lot of times at some of the restaurants as well. So sometimes you can go check out some things there. But yeah, there is a lot of things to do at Disney Springs. You could wait in a long line at Gideon's in the rain.
You could do that if you wanted to. You absolutely could.
I'm sure people probably do. They just hold their umbrellas in the rain there and do that.
They
But
probably don't run the amphicars, do they? Right by
I bet if
Boathouse.
it's sprinkling, they probably do. But I'm sure if it's like an actual storm, they don't.
Yeah.
Because the water gets kind of choppy, and those things are already iffy. Listen. We remember when we were kids, the ducks in Branson.
Yes.
I never trusted them. I went one time and I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Do you want to explain what those are?
Well, for those who don't know, it's the same thing. Like they have a boathouse. It's an amphibious car. So it was this car that's like a tram that could also go in the water. And they would take it out on lakes, and it would terrify you as a child because you're like, this makes no sense. I'm in a car floating in the water. And then, sadly, years ago, they had an incident involving one of those that was tragic.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm good. So I'm not really one to the amphibious vehicles, but you can do that.
It's called Ride the Ducks. And it would be really cool. You'd see them on the road. And then obviously it's a boat on the road.
Yeah.
And then they go into the water.
It was a novelty
Yeah.
of being able to drive on the road and then go into the water,
It was weird.
which I never thought was great, but that was
Yeah.
just me.
Yeah.
But you can do that. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options you have at Disney Springs.
For real.
For that.
Yep.
Now, one thing you could do, and I think this would be a fun thing to, especially say around Christmas time. One thing that's nice to do is to visit the monorail resorts and some of the other resorts to check out the Christmas decorations. So you could go like
Resort hopping, man.
resort hop. You could do a monorail crawl. You could go check out. So, you could just visit the various resorts and check them out. And
Yeah.
they all have food and stuff you could go get, or just take in the scenery, go
Yep.
shop.
Yep.
There's
We won't recommend a Skyliner crawl though, because I don't know. I don't want to be in the Skyliner when it's raining. And then it could start like thundering and lightning, and then it just stops. And
Yeah,
That would not be good, so.
Yeah, well, speaking of it, at the meetup, I was going to get. It was started raining, and I was going to get on the Skyliner, and the guy was like, "I'd give it 10. It might shut down." I was like, "Okay." So then I came back, I got on it, and legitimately, as soon as it goes to a real slow crawl, and that door kind of opens automatically. It had stopped, but it was just slowly moving, and the door opened, and then the whole thing stopped because it started absolutely pouring.
whoa,
I was like, that was some opportune timing there, and I was very glad I wasn't stuck
knew.
up top. But
he knew.
yeah, it was. I would not want to be stuck on those things. But yes, you could do. I mean, you could go to other resorts as well. You'd have to take buses or drive yourself, and sometimes driving in can be tricky because
Sure.
some places, some of the security people take their job very seriously.
And
won't let you in.
they do run the boats, like the friendship boats and stuff. They do run the boats, but not if it's lightning.
Right. Yeah. If it's lightning, a lot of stuff's not going to be running for sure. And then it's basically, up to your own discretion in terms of that end of things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
going to the Polynesian is never a bad idea. If you just want a place to go hang out, go to the Polynesian and get yourself some Dole Whip or go
Forget
get some
about
food.
it. That's it. That's it.
Did you just turn into
Forget about
turn
it.
into an Italian? Okay.
Yeah. No, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. Anything else you can think of?
I mean, not really. I mean, I'd say if you are going to go to the Polynesian, which sounds like a great idea. Again, Dole Whip is good, but if it's on your list to do it, try Trader Sam's.
Get there early.
Get there early.
Probably around 2:00 in the afternoon, if not earlier.
Yeah.
To wait
Yeah.
for that, but
Yeah.
you could try and do that.
So that's a little extra activity. Yeah, obviously not the pool or anything, but there's a couple places to shop in there. They've got the Kona Cafe. They've got the Kona Island, which do they still have sushi up there?
Yeah.
They do. You can get sushi right there.
Yep.
Lots of places to eat. Chill in the lobby just because you can. I like doing that. I like just sitting in there.
Vibe. I would say if you're staying off of Disney property or you have a car or however you want to do it, you could also go venture more into Orlando if you wanted to go some other places as well. Now, if you're staying off property at Disney, obviously it depends on where you're staying. But, the nicer hotels, I'm sure they have some stuff you can do. Most of the newer ones have like, bars and restaurants and places you could go, get some food at or something like that. But each one of those is going to be a little bit different. But, you could check out some restaurants in the greater Orlando area or, some place you saw on social media that people talked about perhaps. But
yeah, that's a good idea too.
Yeah, but in terms of that and like in the parks, I think that's, you obviously the main thing is you're going to a theme park for rides and attractions and things when those are kind of limited. You can still take advantage of them depending on severity of the weather, but you still can find other things to do. And really, I think the main thing I would do as well is, if you're there with your family on a trip, like try to make the best of it. Like obviously you don't want to deal with the rain, but you also don't want to be in a terrible mood, shaking your fist at the sky that it's raining because it's not going to change anything and you're just going to be more mad. So, trying to make the best of it. Because honestly, the thing is too, and I think I maybe recognize this more since we have kids now, but a lot of times the things that you will remember are things that you didn't think you would. Like if something goes wrong and you had talked about one time you guys got stuck on a line for a long time as a kid and you just remember playing games together in line and like you very well just could remember, remember that one time on our trip and it poured and we, did X, Y, and Z. Like that was really cool. Like it can just be something that you would actually, create good memories with. But it's hard to do that if you're, furious at the weather, which, listen, I'm not going to claim to act like I've got my stuff all together, but I'm improving. I try and keep things in mind like that all the time. But yeah, sometimes, slowing down to think about that stuff can be something as well.
Yeah.
Because you can get mad at the weather, but it's not going to do anything.
Curse you, clouds.
Just got a guy outside to be like, I paid all this money and it's raining.
There's always that guy. There's always
Close
that guy.
the dome.
Close the doors to the dome.
You could go to the front desk and ask them to close the dome and see what they say.
Or it's raining. I'd like a refund. Be like, dude, come on, man. Ain't gonna happen.
God, quit picking your eye. You're doing that the whole time.
It's itchy.
Okay.
Okay, I'll redo that.
I'm just saying you've been picking your eye a lot.
It's itchy. I don't know. You can keep going.
All right. I mean, you could shake you could do those things, but it's probably not going to lead to you or your family having a very good time in that way. Something too at the values, I think I don't know if it's all the All-Stars, but I know some of them do have like TV stations, like game systems kids can play as well in the lobby.
Not game systems.
They did at one time. They did. I think they still do have one where you can play something.
Not all of them.
Well, I didn't say all of them. That's why I said I think it was one of the All-Stars. I don't know, but each one will have a little bit of different stuff. But there's, and you can always ask too. You can always go to your front desk and ask them, hey, what sort of activities are going on that you may not be aware of? Because a lot of times that's the thing too. And even if it's not raining, it's never a bad idea to go to the front desk and just ask them, hey, what are all the activities going on at the resort during our stay? Because sometimes there's really cool stuff.
And sometimes if they can fit it inside, they will do Movie Under the Stars inside, but not always.
I was going to say
don't
that.
Have the room.
It depends on where you're at, but sometimes they'll still do Movie Under Stars. I mean, you always have, and again, you always have the bar you can just go to.
Just go get drinking, right?
Well,
eat and drink. I think that's the main one.
Responsibly.
Absolutely, obviously.
Respond.
Obviously. Obviously.
Yeah, but anything else you can think of?
Oh, I don't think so. I think that's pretty much the gist.
I tell you what I would do. Just go work out.
You could go to the gym. That's right.
Well, if you have one that has a gym.
Yeah.
Not all of them do.
You could go work out at the gym.
That's actually what I like about Universal's values is they all have a gym. Whereas Disney's,
they do.
Some of the moderates do, but all the deluxes do have a gym.
Yeah,
but not all of them.
True.
But yeah, but yeah, I think I think those are some pretty good options there.
I agree.
And we even talked about, hey, quality time with your family, make the most of it.
Of course,
do those things.
Do those things.
So yeah, that'll do it for the show. I'm glad we recorded this earlier on Wednesday, just in case, if you're listening to this, hopefully power is fine, but we didn't wait till the last minute. We lose power or can't get it uploaded or something.
Yeah.
So either way, you guys have a show, and we will, be hunkering down ourselves. So this topic is very relevant as we're going to be doing a lot of these things in our house, not really shopping or doing those things, but playing games and staring out the window.
So a lot of the stuff what we said that we would do at Disney, we're probably going to do in our house.
Yeah, like look out the window, listening to the fray as it rains.
Or eat and drink and play board games.
I mean, that's probably what most people will do. That's very true. So, all right, well, that's going to do it for the show. So be sure to check us out on social media. You can catch us basically everywhere at Cap the Magic, except for TikTok. It is at Capture the Magic. And of course, we have the YouTube channel. We have CTM Podcast is where we can catch video versions of the show. So check us out there. And also at Cap the Magic is the main YouTube channel there. And that's where I put out usually 1 or 2 videos per day on a news topic involving theme parks or pop culture or something like that. So if you want to hear me more, sometimes talk about some of the corporate side of things, the financial side of things, I talk about that more there, because this show it's much more, in-park tips and things like that. And, of course, we have other shows on the network. We have the CTM Universal show where we talk about Universal Studios. And we just had an episode come out on Monday where we talked about our experience at Halloween Horror Nights. So we recapped our whole night there, and then kind of ranking the houses that we did and how we liked that event. And then you can also check out Trip Tales, which is Jamie's Trip Report show. When's the next one there coming out?
Ooh, Monday, maybe. Maybe Monday or maybe the next Monday.
Okay.
It depends on what happens with this storm and the weekend and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that will do it for the show. So thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching. And, of course, thoughts and prayers to everybody that's in the path of the storm. Hopefully everybody is safe and sound and everything gets back up and running with the littlest damage as possible from
That'd be great.
Milton, who wants his stapler back. That's why he's doing this.
Office Space.
Of course, Office Space.
Oh, my God.
He wants his stapler. You didn't give him his stapler. Now he's mad. But either way.
He did. The red stapler.
When the minute I heard Hurricane Milton, I just had his face, and I was just like, oh, it's Milton. It's the wrath of Milton. He's still out there.
Oh, my.
Of course. By the way, thank you for listening and or watching, and thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
We'll see you in the parks.
bye.